What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some videos of Americans who have gained a completely new mindset after visiting Europe. So today, I want to take a look at these clips of some of my fellow Americans talking about the ways that visiting Europe has really completely changed the way that they think. And how many of them now believe that Europe actually does many things better than the United States. So, to be honest, this is something that we really don't like to talk about here in the US. So, I'm actually really interested to take a look at this and hear what these Americans have to say about how visiting Europe really changed their whole mindset. So, let's take a look.
I would say for me, I lived in Italy for a year and a half when I was 11.
Oh, wow.
And I noticed when we visit Barcelona, Spain, they view nudity very differently than Americans. And they don't sexualize it as
What?
much
Huh?
as Americans do.
What? Whoa. Okay. Wow. I guess this isn't like the topic that I was expecting right off the bat, but okay, why not? Nudity isn't sexualized as much in Europe, and specifically, she was talking about in Spain. Well, here in the US, it's definitely true that nudity in sex is very, very taboo. It's not something people want to talk about. And whenever you see it on like TV or like in a movie, it's a very, very big deal. That's a scandal. It is kind of funny because even as adults in the United States, you're kind of brought up to feel a little bit of embarrassment or shame about talking about sex or nudity. And yeah, that's definitely true here. I didn't realize it was so much more like what? It's not so taboo like in some European countries like Spain or what?
And I say that because there was a poster board or something up. My mom made me cover my eyes. And I was just like,
Oh,
why that was the case, where there was just kids younger than that just walking around looking at it. I didn't
huh. So when she lived in Spain for like a short time as a child, like 10 or 11 years old, there were posters or like billboards or advertisements or whatever with nudity in them in public. You just have that out in public. That's a massive difference. You can't just here in the US, yeah, you can't just have pictures of naked people in public. That's against the law. And mostly, yeah, because we feel like we have to hide it from children and it's indecent. And wow. So, in her example, in Spain, there's just like naked pictures on posters, naked people. Um, on one hand, like I'm fighting my American like upbringing here. Like it's making me feel uncomfortable even just like talking about it because that's most Americans are brought up that way. And even as adults, if we see it at places, it's like, whoa, whoa, wow. Like, it actually makes a lot more sense to me that it's not such a big deal in other countries. I actually kind of like that, but um, I don't know. At the beginning, she said in Europe, where she was, they don't sexualize nudity as much. it's just difficult for me to imagine not sexualizing nudity. Like, I can't even comprehend that. Maybe just because as an American, you know?
Understand it, but they view nudity and sexuality completely different than America. So that's what I definitely learned from living overseas and traveling overseas.
I don't know what to think about that. Probably a good thing, to be honest. Because let's be really honest, like, we're all just human beings. We've all seen everybody has at least seen themselves naked. We all know like what a naked person looks like, and we're very uptight about it here in the US, and it's strange because we'll show violence and death and guns, explosions and blood, but never nudity. Never nudity. That's forbidden. Yeah. It is that just like a US thing? Are like most other countries like more open about that? Or I can't believe you guys got like posters around with naked like what's that a poster for? What is that for? Anyway, a lot of Americans would feel a deep like desire to hide their children from that. That's true. Whereas you could just make it normal and make it a learning opportunity. I know that there's beaches, like nude beaches around the world, right? Where people are on the beach naked, like doing that. So that's also something that confuses Americans. But yeah, inherently, I don't have a problem with it. I understand that obviously just like an American culture thing that we are uncomfortable with it. And that's our problem.
Why are American grocery stores so damn slow? And also, why are all the cashiers standing?
Whoa. Okay. Mind blow. What? Um, are American grocery stores slow? Are they slow? I've never been in any other grocery store I've never been outside of the US. So now it's got me thinking, what is the experience like in a European grocery store? Is it that much quicker? And why? How? What? What? This raises so many more questions for me than answers. Are we just slow? And why are the cashiers standing?
And also, why are all the cashiers standing?
That I don't know. So is he saying in places in Europe, cashiers are allowed to sit down? Because I've always thought that cashiers should be able to sit down. Because it's a job where you are staying in one place and you're just like, typing on the keypad and scanning things. But in the United States, I was a cashier when I was like a teenager, when I was really young. You are called lazy if you try to sit down. That is absolutely forbidden. I don't know why. It's really stupid when I think about it. This is one of those things that Americans just never think about. It's one of the things that is normal here. It doesn't make any sense, but we just don't question it until like this, till an American goes to Europe and sees that your cashiers are allowed to sit down and relax and be comfortable, and that's okay. Here, that's considered, I don't know, like lazy or something, or I don't know. That's a really good question, because, it kind of says something about just American work culture that if you're not suffering, you're not working hard enough. I think it kind of has to do with that. It's, yeah.
I studied abroad in Florence, Italy. Oh my God, 10 years ago. This past January was 10 years. And the one thing that got me was how manufactured politeness is in the United States. And they gave
Oh
us
my
like this full
God.
assimilation seminar before we before we flew over there. And they were like, don't wear logoed clothing.
Okay, hold on. Slow down. I want to dissect what exactly they're talking about here. The first part. How manufactured politeness is?
States. and they gave us
Hold on.
all manufactured politenesses in the
So they're saying that in the United States we're fake, basically. That politeness and kindness, because Americans, we're known for a lot of things. Not all are good, like loud, rude, ignorant, but also I think we're kind of known for being friendly, wanting to strike up a conversation, confidence, maybe, like, some good qualities. Um, but I can easily see where that could come across as fake, or insincere. Um, and to that, I would say for some Americans, it is kind of fake, especially like if you go into an American department store or a grocery store, all the workers are told to like greet you, say hello, are you having a good day? Is everything going well? Did you find everything okay? And that's a very fake. Like a lot of service workers in America have to follow a script and pretend to be polite. And in the U.S., people, oh, I think some of it is genuine and some of it is not. To that point.
United States. And they gave us like this whole assimilation seminar before we went in, before we flew over there. And they were like, don't wear logoed clothing and don't smile at people in the street because they'll think you're crazy.
Oh my God. So, right. Like here in the US, when you grow up in the United States, you, as part of American culture, you kind of learn like that it's socially acceptable to talk to strangers, sit next to people, say something, smile at people. That's considered polite, smiling at people. I didn't realize that was considered so weird in like European countries. But when I step back and look at it, I guess like just randomly, and I'm not saying Americans always randomly smile at people, but like if you're the only two there, like in an elevator, you might smile, like, hey, how's it going? Not just ignore each other, or if you like pass by somebody, or I don't know. It's kind of a nuanced, weird thing when it's socially acceptable to speak and smile in the US, and we definitely do it a lot. And I can see if you're from a country that doesn't do that, it would come across as very, very weird. But I'm guessing for Americans, when if Americans go to Europe and you don't act as friendly or fake, you call it fake friendliness, for all I care. Americans probably think that Europeans are being very distant and cold and difficult to connect with, whereas Americans might be easier to talk to and connect with, but not it's not as genuine or real as a connection. I don't know. That's a really interesting thought.
And also, the more that you try to fit in, the less that they'll treat you like shit. And so I went and I
Huh.
bought me some Italian clothes and I assimilated and I had a wonderful time. And I mean, on habit, I definitely smiled at a few people in the streets and got that look of what the is wrong with you. So I stopped.
That is so funny. Um, I don't notice how often I smile at random people. It's really just like whenever you're interacting non-verbally, like if you're opening a door for somebody or getting out of the way or handing them something, or I don't know. Yeah. I've never thought of that how that could be interpreted as like kind of weird. But that's just, there's no right or wrong way necessarily. It's just different culture.
And I had a friend that just super white girl. She wore Abercrombie sweatshirts and she didn't try to speak the language and they treated her like dog shit. They
Oh,
didn't want
wow.
to help her. They didn't like they just treated her like an American. Whereas the group of us, we went in and we tried to speak the language. We butchered it, but they laughed and they helped us. So Yeah, I would definitely.
Wow. So that's definitely a problem, I think, that a lot of Americans would have. Most Americans never like travel outside of the US or but when we do, I think a lot of Americans don't tend to learn a lot about the culture that or the language or the country that they're visiting, and we come across as like stupid and ignorant and weird and doing all these weird things that aren't socially acceptable there. Um, but that's bad, and Americans should definitely try harder to understand where they're going. That's something we could do better for sure. But on the other hand, I think for a lot of Americans, their heart is in the right place, trying to extend friendliness and smiling, and because that's considered polite where we come from. But you do, like, to be fair, you do have to understand when you are going to another country, you have to understand what's normal there, and you have to. That's on you. Yeah, that is true.
The manufactured politeness and just trying to participate in the culture as a sign of respect. Take me back.
The manufactured Yeah, I'm trying to think about that phrase more. So, I think Americans are known for being um, polite, maybe not polite, but friendly, or maybe overly talkative, maybe overly friendly, to where it's annoying. And I'm trying to think, is it fake? Is it manufactured? Maybe. Because it's like, how could you be so kind and polite to somebody you've never met? Like, it's just a social expectation. Like, you have no idea who that person is, or I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I've always thought it was a good quality of Americans that we are like friendly and want to talk. Um, it can be annoying. To be fair, it can be annoying even for me as an American when people want to talk and I don't want to talk to them. And there's definitely people, especially in the service industry, that are very fake, and especially at jobs and that are very fake. Very, very, that is absolutely true. Um, but it's just something so normal here and so common. I've never thought about it. I've never thought about how it actually could be kind of a bad thing or interpreted as very phony and ingenuine. Um, but now I kind of get it. It's crazy how hearing about other Americans' experiences in Europe, like it gets me evaluating my own mindset and my own way of thinking and my own preconceived beliefs. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much. This was really interesting. So I think I'll stop there. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these Americans' experiences in Europe and sort of the things that they really took away that are strange about the United States that even I didn't realize. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.